Okay. It seems that things are happening again. We're live in five, four, three, two, and one. Welcome back to another episode of the Hagwon Startup Podcast. It's the 46th now, I believe. I seem to have lost count sometime along the way. I think I've got two episodes labeled 44. It's the 2nd of December today. Happy December, everyone. Hope everyone's loving it. I am. Another episode of the Hagwon. Just checking the sounds here, make sure that there's no crazy feedback going on. But I think we're good. We are fantabulastic. It's been a while. The introductions. It's been a while. The Hagwon Startup Podcast is a podcast located here in South Korea, and it is a podcast talking about anything and everything related to the starting and operating of Hagwon and gongbubang businesses in and around South Korea, if you happen to be somewhere outside of South Korea, as well as anything related to life in Korea in general. I've been away last week. Things have been very hectic with me here. My wife and I are trying to grow our business. Our Hagwon, it needs an expansion, so to speak. We're working on that, and so things have been keeping us extremely busy. And so that's kind of the part that I'm gonna discuss today. I'll try to talk about today. I haven't really planned anything per se, but in the last minute something hit me. I was gonna cover some local news, which to be honest, there's nothing to offer. I looked at some things posted by Korea Herald and some other news agencies. I don't know which one it was, like Korea Times, I think. And it was pretty much the same stuff. It doesn't really change so much here in South Korea. Celebrities committing suicide, which is sad as hell, and there's a lot of questions that could be asked. Other celebrities being put to jail for drug raping girls. Scandals left and right. In addition to that, there's North Korea and South Korea's relationships that are kind of in shambles. There's Japan, and it seems to be the same thing that's happening for the past several months. Yeah, I don't know if I guess since I'm on the topic, I don't know if you heard, one of the singers from BTS was recently accused of drugging girls in his nightclub, drugging girls, selling drugs to wealthy individuals, drugging girls, and raping them. And of course, he's the scapegoat because that's his club. And I assume that the people who actually paid for the drugs, who initiated the whole situation, what occurred, will probably go scot-free, because that's usually the case, isn't it? There is only one scapegoat, and it's going to be the young buck, who's clearly not innocent, but is not the only person who should be held accountable and responsible for what happened, right? And the other two celebrities, I think there was a second case of a celebrity suicide, another young singer. I don't know, I think she was a pop singer as well, committed suicide, allegedly. The first one was a couple of months ago, I think 2 or 3 months ago, maybe not even that far back. And she was a outspoken individual, who basically spoke out against the difficulties, or spoke out on the difficulties that pop stars here in Korea experience when they are working in the industry. She was apparently the only one who was speaking out against the whole pop music circus here, the pop industry in Korea. And it's kind of a coincidence that she happens to she happened to have committed suicide. Anyway, okay, that's not the point. So anyway, the news in Korea is kind of, I don't want to say stagnant because it kind of sounds, what's the word? Dismissive of what's going on. That's not my intent. It's not dismissive. It's pretty much the same thing that's been happening for some months. But what I wanted to talk about today is starting a Hagwon business, starting a business. Possibly what I'm going to talk about might apply to some other businesses or not, and I'm not sure what I should start with. Whether I should start relating my own experiences or go to the internet and read up on some things that I've just dug up in relation to starting businesses. And the specific topic I wanted to talk about is to whether start up a business, a Hagwon business or a gongbubang on your own without any support, without any, a partner, so to speak, or would it be better to have a partner or somebody who's going to help you out, who will basically, carry a part of the load. Excuse me. I didn't drink any water today, I just realized. That's what you get for standing up all day. Well, partially sitting, but just teaching, like class after class after class. Okay, so to go back in time a little bit, my wife, prior to starting our gongbubang business, to starting our Hagwon, my wife and I, we worked together in a gongbubang. We had one. I was working universities and privates and this and that, and we also had a small gongbubang that we were operating. And basically, the gongbubang, as I already talked about in some other episodes of the Hagwon Startup Podcast, a gongbubang doesn't really require a lot of investment in terms of effort. It's a pretty low maintenance establishment. If you are a expat, an English speaker with a minimal level of Korean, you basically would be able to run a gongbubang on your own for a number of reasons. One of them being the fact that parents who send their kids to gongbubangs tend to be a lot less demanding. There is a lot less pressure on the teachers, on the owner if you're an expat owner, and on the parents as well, and on the children. And I think everybody in an environment like that feels a lot more relaxed. And so even with your minimal Korean, you'd be able to navigate your way around parental issues and songdams or consulting issues, and you could figure it out. There is no specific need to have a native Korean speaker. Sure, it will definitely help, but it's not so important. And because when it comes to like administrative duties while running a gongbubang, the level of maintenance again there is quite minimal. The only thing you have to worry about is your equipment in your apartment or the designated area. The lesson preps that you need to make and get ready for your classes, and just to make sure that your students are happy and operational. Hey Bruno, welcome Bruno. Just checking the chats. Bruno's here. There was somebody else here. I'm not sure if they're still here or not. But anyway, where was I? So, as a single operator of a gongbubang, as a single expat operator of a gongbubang, I think you could get by with a minimal of Korean. I know that there are expats out there that are doing exactly that, and they manage to communicate with the parents with to the extent that they're able to, and because the parents don't necessarily extend a very excessive amount of needs and pressures from a gongbubang business, it's a lot easier to arrange things, and things work a lot smoother. Um, but I would, from my experience right now, I would highly recommend against starting up a Hagwon on your own as an expat. Um, Even if your Korean is sufficient enough to navigate your way through, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. And I just received a message from another Hagwon owner who started their Hagwon on their own, and they are an expat as well. And basically, even though they were able to open it successfully, pretty much on their own, um, they the comment was that it would have been a lot easier if there was support from a Korean native speaker. I hope that makes sense. What I just stumbled through, um, and so basically my hunch, or my kind of the thoughts that I had were confirmed by this particular person, by this individual. And so here's some of some of the thoughts that I had. So I would like to compare, I guess, like a individual Korean owner and an individual expat owner, if that were the case. If you're a Korean owner, clearly you have the advantage of being the native language speaker, and having a lot more freedom to do the things that need to be taken care of in order to start the business. So visit the Ministry of Education, do the paperwork, and arrange all the logistics and administrative things of the business. There's, in the past at least, there were plenty of Hagwon owners, Korean Hagwon owners, who didn't actually speak a lot of English, or maybe not enough to use it in an educational setting, I guess. Or maybe they've taught in the past and started, whatever the case is. But Korean speakers or Korean natives have the freedom of not having to teach. And I would assume that most, because that's one of the selling points, having native speakers in a Hagwon is a benefit. That's the thing, that's what most Hagwons look for, right? That's what people seek as a business owner, as a Hagwon business owner. So a native Korean will hire 1, 2, 3, or how many foreigners they can afford, expats they can afford to do their teaching for them. And so that takes away the burden from them of having to do all that work, and they can focus on, and they can focus on the administration of the business on their own. If you are, on the other hand, if you're an expat who's doing that, then you are burdened with those two things. And this is something that I'm struggling with at the moment. Because of all the additional work that we're getting in regards to trying to build our business, trying to expand and grow, there's so much additional stuff, administrative duties that I need to perform, that I need to take care of, that I feel like I am sacrificing a large part of my teaching, my being here at the Hagwon, which is to be a teacher, and I feel like some of the services, or my part of the service that I provide, which is the teaching service, it's taking a beating, it's taking a toll, and I'm not. I find myself to not be at my best at times, and that's a problem for me. It makes me uncomfortable, because I want to do both things, but it just starts to pile up to the point where I feel like even the balancing, even the balancing of these two aspects of the business of what I do, um, just kind of become intertwined, and it's very difficult to have both of them running at 100% capacity. And instead, I have each one of them running at not 50% capacity, but less than optimal. So, excuse me. So, if you were a single operating expat, you'd be looking at so much stuff that, like, if I look at our Hagwon right now and at the size that we are, if I were to be here on my own and I were to perform the duties of the administrator, the director, the counselor, and the English teacher, I honestly don't think I'd be able to do it. And that's in addition to having a family life. Um, if if I took away my family life, maybe those four things I just mentioned could be manageable, but that would be a very hard road to go down, I think. And so again, the comment that I received earlier kind of confirms what I'm saying right now. Having a solid support from a native speaker, from someone who knows the ropes, I guess, um, is a huge, huge thing. So for any expats who are running gongbubang right now, in most cases, from what I've seen so far, from what I've witnessed, most people run their gongbubang with their spouses, and so that, I think that provides you with like a very good stepping stone to move up the ladder in terms of starting up a hagwon, because you've kind of have the training, so to speak, the initial training, but don't assume that it's moving away from the gongbubang into the world of running a hagwon will be easy. It's not. It's a huge change. It's a huge shift. And again, I think the same person who posted today's comment mentioned that as well. I remember talking about that with someone else, maybe even Red Bert, who was here on the podcast a while back. And I think we talked about the huge differences that there exist between running a gongbubang and a hagwon. So, so having the support, a partner of some sort, if it's your spouse, great. And again, one of the things that the international franchising director of the Shane Hagwon, of our Shane Hagwon, told me was that Hagwon business is something that can make or break a couple. And he himself apparently has seen couples break up. Luckily for me, my wife and have a kind of a love-hate relationship. We like to take the piss out of each other, and we have kind of a, I don't know, battle-friendly relationship. So we know our limits. We've gone through a lot, and so I think we're able to manage the frustrations and the anger that we sometimes let out on each other, because it's, I don't know, it seems inevitable to occasionally have to let out some steam. But I think our relationship definitely is taking a toll, but we're able to manage it on top of all the family stuff that's already out there. And so yeah, to answer the question of whether you should consider starting your business on your own or with a partner, I would strongly suggest do not do it on your own. And so this is in regards to a hagwon business, and it seems to be a similar, the sentiment seems to be similar when we're talking about other businesses. Let me just check. There's a couple of messages here. I just need to find them because they have been buried under. Just a sec. I see their messages, but I just can't see them. Let me just check here. Where are those messages? There you go. Oh, right. Okay. Red says, copy and paste Korean phrases. Owners need to focus on recruiting students. Yes, owners need to delegate. Indeed. Try working with people that have the character and the skills to do it. Yeah, exactly. so these are some of the things that owners need to do. Copy and paste Korean phrases. Yeah, you could. But yeah, one of the main thing of running a business is actually having clients, right? So you need to have students. So for example, like my wife literally spends day and night, and I mean that literally, like she's on the phone talking to parents, giving either counseling, recruiting, or looking for ways to advertise the business or whatever. And I'm on the other hand in the process of developing our curriculum, and I'm making PowerPoints, and I'm trying to kind of polish the stuff that we already have. And in addition to that, I have a family, and I also have to teach, sometimes 6 to 8 hours a day, which makes it really hard to balance all these things. So if you are to be an owner, a sole owner, you got to consider that these just the teaching and then the management side of the business will drive you into the ground. Your business will either not grow, it'll stagnate, or your teaching will suffer. If you're able to drive more business and grow your business, then obviously you can pass on some of the responsibilities to other teachers by hiring other teachers. Or vice versa, if you can teach and then you can pass on some of your managerial responsibilities to somebody who you can hire and manage your business. But that's the same thing as taking on a partner, right? So the point being, the main point is that it's best to start a Hagwon business with a partner, whether it's your spouse or a well-trusted individual, preferably a Korean native or somebody with a very fluent level of Korean to help you out along the way, or take up some of the slack of the business parade, of the Hagwon parade. Right, and so on that topic, I've dug up a few articles here in regards to that very point. Let me just find them here and adjust the croppy windows. Not crappy, croppy. And I would like to start with a very fine article which seems to may carry some weight. Here we go, as it's Forbes, as you can see here at the top. Your startup, go with partners or go it alone. It shouldn't be like go at it alone. Anyway, so this is not like specifically to aimed at Hagwon businesses. This is kind of a general idea. And this Sunday Steinkirchner, I think she's German. She covers basically both sides of the issue. The goods and the bads. The idea of starting your business is undoubtedly daunting, blah, blah, blah. I will skip all these things, but here, benefits of starting with partners, spreading the risk. Having partners can mean multiple sources of cash flow, which will undoubtedly benefit your benefits during both startup and growth phases. And again, the person who posted the comment just today also mentioned that the money is a huge factor. Because clearly starting a Hagwon business means that there's a level of investment, and depending on what it is, what kind of Hagwon you're starting, the level of investment will vary. Whether it's a franchise, whether you're starting on your own, the location, whether it's a brand new building with nothing inside, do you need to put an interior? And so if you're able to have a partner, whether it's family, although some recommend not to involve your family into partnerships because that can go sideways. But if you can find somebody who, like Rhett said, people that have character and the skill to do it, and hopefully the finances, then that will give you a leg up on just starting out. If you have a small budget of, let's say, 20,000 won, then that's all you've got to work with. If you have a larger budget of whatever 30,000 or whatever budget you carry, you're either able to hire professional interior designers who can basically make your space look a lot more presentable, which I'm sure a lot of parents will appreciate. And customers coming into a spanky new place always, a brand new place makes an impression, right, on the customers. So finances are kind of important too. The risk of your investment will be spread among other people, which can protect you if your business doesn't work out as planned. Don't discount the psychological benefits of having partners either. Knowing you're not alone in your endeavors can help you to feel more secure when the entrepreneurial road gets rough. Very true. I know for a fact that my wife has had doubts, and what we're doing right now is quite large, and we're struggling through the reasonability of it, to be quite frank. It's a very big undertaking, and it's really just the two of us. We have teachers, we've got other supporting stuff, but in terms of making the final decision, it's us, and it's a large investment, and it's a scary one. So if I were to do that on my own, honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. And I gather that it would be a similar arrangement, similar situation for my wife. But because there's two of us, we can discuss it, we can make the decisions together. And so when you have a partner, you're not on your own. You can get feedback, because it's very different, asking your friends or your family for advice. People who are not actually involved in the business themselves can be very partial or impartial. I don't think that they're, they may not be as involved, and so their feedback or their advice may not carry as much weight as somebody who is involved in the business with a level head on their shoulders, right? An investor or a partner clearly has the same interest in mind as you do, and you both have the same goal, end goal in mind, and so you're aiming for the same thing, right? So your interests are kind of aligned, hopefully. Second reason for starting with a partner is diversifying your expertise. You can only be an expert in so many areas. By selecting partners with different expertise, you can broaden your scope of your business. This could expand your customer base, which can increase your earning potential. Partners with different skill sets will also help to spread out the workload. So that's basically what I was saying in terms of, one person takes care of the administrative part of the business. They need to get the customers into the door. They need to talk to them. They need to do all these things while you, for example, can focus on the teaching. Ms. RC says they're not as knowledgeable and advice may not be applicable to your situation or goal. You mean, people who are not directly involved in the business. I think that's what Ms. RC is referring to, right? They're not as knowledgeable, and advice may not be applicable to your situation or goal. Right. Yeah, exactly. So I guess my point was, if I was going to ask my family member, like, do you think this is a good idea? Am I doing the right thing? Should I be, opening a larger school right now? Because they're not directly involved in the business, they're my family member, and they probably won't, have the best intentions towards me. They might say, yes, I think you can do it, and and all the best, and I think you can do it. But that just might be your mom saying how great of a person, right, how great of a person you are. Ms. RC says outside people. Yeah, exactly. And so they might either unnecessarily prep you up, or unnecessarily put you down by saying, like, are you sure this is crazy? Like, you shouldn't do it. It's a huge investment. Just forget it. That's, people don't do that. Again, so having a partner gives you that level of feedback, leveled level of feedback that will hopefully align with what your interests are in that aspect. Number 3, checks and balances. All of your ideas sound incendiary to you, but what about the world at large. With a team approach, your partners can serve as your sounding board when testing out new ideas, products, and services in markets. Their feedback can be invaluable, especially when you're first starting up. They can also serve as an additional source of creativity when you're brainstorming and problem solving, as the saying goes. Two minds or more are better than one. I think this kind of would apply more to your staff meetings, other more so than the partner themselves. Okay, so that's three really. That's it from Forbes on the three benefits of starting up alone. Here's some benefits of, three benefits of starting up with a partner, and here's some benefits of starting on doing it alone. Vision. You can follow your vision. As a sole owner, your vision for your company will be completely uncompromised, and isn't that why you wanted to become an entrepreneur in the first place? This is helpful when first starting up, as the strength of your vision and your commitment to it will be crucial to your success. Having one vision for your company can also benefit you long term, as different views or changes in personal needs can start to divide one's compatible partners. So I don't know if that really applies to a Hagwon business, because I think when you start a Hagwon, the vision is pretty clear. Like, have a successful business, have people coming in who benefit from your services, and you benefit from their economic, input into the business, right? And grow to as far as you potentially can or are willing to, and that's I think that's pretty much what most businesses strive for, especially in the Hagwon industry. Increased productivity. This may be counterintuitive, but working on your own can actually increase your productivity in a number of ways. As a sole proprietor, you get the first and only say without having to run your decision making by other parties. There will be no need for team meetings, collaborating, or voting. You will also be less distracted, seeing tasks through to completing without having to trust other people. You can do what you want and need to do effectively, and the end result will be up to you, to your high standards. If you need additional manpower, hiring employees can enhance your productivity without giving other people decision-making power. And I think that would be true if the starting itself wasn't so damn difficult. If you didn't have to multitask and juggle so many other responsibilities. Number 3, personal comfort and flexibility. Some of the best perks of owning your own business include setting your own hours. Now that, I didn't read this before. By the way, setting your own hours at a Hagwon business is impossible. Like if there's anybody out there listening to it and you're considering starting your own Hagwon and you think you're going to be setting your own hours, just forget that idea. That doesn't happen. You run on the clock of your customers. That's it. We should be so lucky to adopt our own working hours and tell the kids or the parents when to send their kids to our Hagwon. No. For the entire duration of our Hagwon, we've always adapted to the times of our customers, because that's the only way to get customers to come in through the door. Creative control and unlimited earning potential. Well, yes and no. Flexibility will not only help you, but can also positively affect the lives of those around you, which can assist you in achieving your desired work-life balance. Without partners and their varying or possibly contradictory needs, you can put whatever truly matters to you first. The type of business you're tackling will certainly influence your best mode of approach. Don't forget to also consider your resources, your work style, and your personal goals. Yeah. So, like I said, this does not necessarily apply to the Hagwon industry because it doesn't. But some advice on whether to start up alone or with a partner from Forbes. There's another short little thing from, who is this? What is this? The business Player FM, Serious Business. I have no idea what website that is. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna flip through this and see if we can. Often people ask Jay whether it's a good idea to go into a partnership for business or whether they should do it alone. Jay explains the pros and cons of going into a business partnership. Okay, so I think this is maybe a podcast. Oh yeah, it is mentor podcast. I didn't realize that. But the key takeaways. Let's see what the key takeaways are. Oh, can you see that? Let me adjust the screen a little bit so it's okay. That's better, readable. Yeah. Okay. All right. Prevent. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, okay. Yeah. Okay. We're good. All right. I just wanted to make sure that it's visible, the screen. Uh, Business can be really difficult if you pick the wrong partner. Clearly. It's a bit like a marriage. If you go into a partnership, you have to work on the friendship with them. If you're already friends and go into a business partnership, the friendship is likely to dilute